You sat down to work 40 minutes ago. You have checked your phone twice, opened a new tab 3 times, answered a message that wasn't urgent, refilled your water, and read the first sentence of the task you came here to do at least 6 times without progressing past it. The work is not hard. Your attention is fractured. And the fracture is not a character flaw. It is the predictable result of a brain that has been trained through thousands of small daily choices to treat every incoming signal as equally urgent, to flinch toward novelty before completing anything, to fragment rather than sustain. That training can be reversed, not through willpower, through 10 daily habits that retrain the attention system at the structural level, the same level where the fracture was built. Stephen Strange was one of the most cognitively disciplined minds in the MCU before Kamar Taj. Surgeon's precision, total command under pressure. And then Kamar Taj stripped every familiar signal away. No operating room, no team, no structured procedure to anchor the attention, and exposed exactly what his focus was built on. Not internal depth, external scaffolding. The habits that followed rebuilt it from the inside. These 10 do the same thing. Here's every one. Habit 1. No phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. Not reduced phone. No phone. The attention system calibrates itself to the first signal environment it encounters each morning. Start in a high stimulus, high novelty environment, and the calibration runs shallow for hours. Start in silence and the calibration runs deep. 30 minutes of no phone is not a morning practice. It is the instruction your attention system receives about what today's operating mode is. Habit 2. Write the one thing before the session starts. One sentence. The specific task the next block of time is for, not a list. One thing. The attention system cannot sustain depth on a vague intention. A named, specific target gives it something to return to every time distraction pulls it sideways. The sentence is the anchor. Without the anchor, every distraction is an open invitation. With it, every distraction has something to be measured against. Habit 3. Close every tab that is not the task before starting, not after starting, before. The presence of open tabs is not neutral. Each one is a visible alternative to the current task, registered by the peripheral attention system as an available exit. Remove the exits before the friction arrives. The friction will arrive. The exits need to be gone before it does, not after the hand is already reaching for them. Habit 4. Set a single distraction capture point. When a thought, task, or impulse arrives mid-session, and it will, write it on a designated page rather than acting on it. One page, one capture point. The thought is honored without the session being interrupted. The attention system learns that distractions are recorded rather than acted on, and the urgency that drives task switching begins to reduce because the thing is written, not lost. Strange's discipline at Kamar Taj required exactly this. Not the elimination of interrupting thoughts, but a place to put them that wasn't the middle of the practice. Stay with habits 5 through 10. The first 4 protect the session from external fracture. What comes next rebuilds the capacity for sustained depth, and habit 8 is the one that produces the most visible result in the shortest time of anything on this list. Habit 5, train the attention like a muscle with progressive sessions. Start with 25 minutes of uninterrupted focus. One task, no switching. When that is reliable, extend to 40, then 50. The attention system's capacity for sustained depth is trainable, but it must be trained progressively. The same way physical capacity is built. Jumping to 90-minute focus blocks without building the base produces the same result as attempting a heavy lift without the prerequisite strength. Failure, frustration, and a reinforced belief that deep focus is not available to you. It is. It requires the base to be built first. Habit 6. Eliminate the low-friction task at the start of every session. The instinct to begin with easy tasks, clearing the inbox, answering messages, completing small items, feels like warming up. It is not warming up. It is spending the freshest, most capable attention you have on the work that requires the least of it, and arriving at the important task with a depleted resource. Do the hard thing first. Every session, the easy tasks will still be there when the attention is spent. The window for deep work closes as the day progresses. Use it before you spend it. Habit 7. Build a consistent start ritual. 2 minutes. Same sequence every session. Same physical arrangement. Same opening action. Same transition into the work. The brain is a pattern recognition instrument. A consistent pre-work ritual becomes a neurological cue, a signal to the attention system that deep focus is beginning. Within 2 to 3 weeks of consistent use, the ritual begins to pull the attention into depth rather than the attention having to be forced there. The ritual is not mystical, it is conditioning. Strange's preparation sequences at Kamar Taj were not ceremony, they were cues. Build yours. Habit 8. Do one thing with complete, undivided attention every day that is not work. A meal eaten without a screen. A walk taken without audio. A conversation held without the phone on the table. The attention system does not only learn through work sessions. It learns through every repeated pattern of engagement or fragmentation across the entire day. A man who fragments his attention during leisure and expects it to sustain during work is training one pattern and hoping for a different result. Single tasking outside work hours trains the same capacity that single tasking inside work hours requires. Habit 9. Protect sleep as the primary focus recovery mechanism. Attention capacity degrades measurably under sleep deprivation, not just subjectively, but in every measurable dimension of sustained concentration and cognitive flexibility. A man trying to build deep focus on insufficient sleep is filling a container with a hole in it. No habit on this list produces its full effect in an under-rested attention system. Sleep is not the reward at the end of a productive day. It is the mechanism that makes the next productive day possible. Habit 10. End every session by naming what the next session starts with. One sentence, written before the current session closes, tomorrow's first action, named specifically, so that when the session begins, the attention system steps directly into depth without a cold start decision. The cold start is where most sessions lose the first 15 minutes. Remove it. The attention that would have been spent deciding what to begin is now the first 15 minutes of the work. Over 30 days, that recovery compounds into hours the distracted version of you never had. You came into this thinking the problem was distraction, that the solution was eliminating it. Better tools, stricter blocks, harder rules about the phone. Distraction is not the source. Distraction is the symptom of an attention system that has been trained through accumulated daily choices to fragment rather than sustain. Eliminating individual distractions without retraining the attention system produces temporary relief and no lasting change. Within days, the fragmentation returns through whatever channel the elimination left open. These 10 habits do not eliminate distraction. They rebuild the attention system that distraction was exploiting. When the system is rebuilt, the distraction loses the purchase it had. Not because the phone disappeared, because the man using it changed how he engages with everything. Strange didn't develop mastery at Kamar Taj. By removing all obstacles, he rebuilt his relationship with his own attention until the obstacle was no longer a distraction, but simply something present that he could choose to engage or not. That choice is what these 10 habits build. Not discipline over distraction, depth that makes distraction irrelevant. Tonight, install 3. The 3 that address the specific points in your daily architecture where the attention system most consistently fractures. Write them as behaviors: specific, timed, located tomorrow. Run one 25-minute session with all 10 principles active. One task written down. Every tab closed. Phone in another room. Distraction capture page open. No switching for 25 minutes. At the end, write the first sentence of the next session. That single session is not a transformed attention system. It is the first training session of one. The fracture in your focus was not built in a day. It was built through thousands of small choices across months. The rebuild runs the same way, through daily choices, each one depositing into a different pattern until the pattern becomes the default. Your attention is not broken. It has been trained to fragment. Train it differently, daily, and the deep focus you think you cannot access becomes the mode you cannot turn off. 3 habits tonight, 1 session tomorrow. 30 days of both. The distracted mind is not your mind. It is the mind that was built by the choices made before today. Different choices held consistently build a different mind. That is the only hard truth about focus, and the only one worth acting on. One question. Which of the 10, name the specific number, addresses the exact point where your attention most consistently breaks? Drop it in the comments. That is the first habit to install tonight. Not eventually, before the next session begins. If this reframed distraction from a character problem to a training problem, subscribe. More of this. No focus apps required.